Wow, haven't we been up for a few surprises lately? Gen Con 19 has seen a bunch of new announcements for the Warhammer world, including new games and expansions to already existing minigames, which is absolutely fantastic. Now normally I don't really do a lot of videos about this, but hey, this is really cool. I was browsing through Warhammer community and saw the announcement. I thought, wow, Games Workshop have been listening to us. They've been giving us more minigames. Minigames themselves work out really well to introduce people into the hobby. So I wanted to take just a few minutes and just go through the new announcements. We won't be going in a specific order. I'm going to go through what interests me the most and then just go from there, to be honest. Firstly, and the one I'm most excited about, is the new Lizardmen models for the Blood Bowl team, which, come on, let's face it, it's been a long time since we've needed something like this. This is super awesome. I was actually considering getting back into Blood Bowl, and these new models have kind of just tipped the scales for me. I'm definitely buying them. And to be honest, they gave me a bunch of ideas for conversions for Warhammer Fantasy, so maybe we might see a Lizardmen army soon in the channel. Like, we can't say that those new Saurus models are not cool. And I've got an idea for a battle standard bearer with just one of them. Honestly, this looks really cool. Next we have an expansion to the Warhammer Underworld series, which is called the Beastgrave. Now, I don't really play this series, I've seen a bunch of games played, but the models coming out are amazing. I myself use a lot of the Underworld series models for conversions for my fantasy army. And honestly, if I can be 100% honest here, I'm really tempted to try out Underworld since I've seen that new Great Bray Shaman. I mean, that model just looks stunning. I am going to have to buy two. One for fantasy to use as a conversion piece, and another one maybe to try out Underworlds. I might actually be really tempted here, to be honest. Personally, I'm not sure what to make of these new Ale factions. I believe they're kind of a take on the Wood Elves and so on, which are kind of cool. You've got some Centaur types, some Ongor types. Honestly, I thought they'd just be a variant of Beastmen, but they look very different. I mean, I'm not an Age of Sigmar player, so someone could probably share some light on this, but honestly, it looks really cool regardless. So if they want to just keep throwing cool models at us, I'm happy to buy. I can work on them as conversion pieces and so on, so it's actually kind of cool. Those who know me well enough on this channel know I'm trying to start experimenting with green stuff and so on. It's coming along, it's not great, but hey, I'm trying. GW have also been showing off some of the new minigames they've released already in America, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, there's two new ones currently out, which are Combat Arena and Stormvault, which I've not looked too much into and I will be doing now, but I actually quite like the idea that they're actually releasing loads of new minigames. But before we get into that, let's look at pretty much the biggest thing about this post. Aeronautica Imperialis, a Forge World based minigame which is centered around aerial combat. It's kind of using the hexagon system, which is kind of cool. It's based on 40k, and it's influenced by a lot of the ships that we already know in lore and so on. So that's actually quite interesting that we're seeing them done into a little minigame. It should provide those fans who are more into the aerial aspect of stuff a little thing to do, rather than just building up basic armies and so on. The reason I wanted to do this video is actually just to share my excitement with you guys. Maybe you guys haven't heard of this, so you can check it out. It's pretty much a good thing that they're doing minigames and focusing a lot on minigames. Yes, the baseline games and structures have to be supported more, but these minigames are going to be very good gateways for new players to get into the hobby. Let's face it, when it comes to getting into Warhammer, Fantasy, Age of Sigmar, or 40k, as a new player now, it's a little harder. Because you're going to come into a game where you require fairly large forces, and it's a bit confusing. Whereas if you can start off with something like Shadespire, Mordheim, or any of these other minigames, it works out really well. Start getting in small and then work your way up. Before I end this video, I just want to say a few things. The link to the article will be in the description below, so in case you guys want to check it out in more in detail and so on. And if you have any friends who are considering getting into the hobby but were turned away due to the high price margin, these little minigames may be the perfect way for them to enjoy the hobby without having to spend a couple of hundred or even more. So it may be a good idea to link this article to them, or the video if you want. Hey, I don't mind, but if you want to promote the channel, that always helps. But with that, my friends, we come to the end of our video. I'm actually really surprised I managed to get a video in on the same day the information came out, so it's kind of weird. But if you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. Once again, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all again very soon. Have a good day.